Okay, so now we are going to talk about keyframes inside of After Effects. Now, as you guys can see, I have created this composition, and the duration of this composition is up to 6 seconds only, because I don't want much more duration for to explain this. And now to animate something, we need something over here. Right now this composition is blank, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to select my rectangle, and by holding shift I'll create one rectangle like this. This is not rectangle but square. So select this and press Ctrl Alt Home. If you are not gonna do that, then this entire thing will animate from here. For example, if you select this rotation tool, and if you start to rotate it, it will rotate it from here because the anchor point is over here. So we don't want that, so I'll hit Ctrl Z. I'll select this and I'll press Ctrl Alt Home to align that anchor point to the center. Then I can press V for selection tool and I can move this over here. Okay, we don't need to align it properly. Let's choose grid and guide option and hit on title selection to get say this kind of grid like this, and let's try to adjust it. Now I want to animate the properties of it. So what I can do, whenever you are going to create any shape layer, you will get these options known as contain rectangle and transform. Now to animate this and to understand the concept of keyframes, we are not going to go inside this extra options of rectangle. We will see these options whenever there is a chapter about shape layers. Now we are going to understand the concept of keyframes. So for that I'm gonna go in my transform options. So inside this transform you will get these options like anchor point. As you guys can see, if I move this anchor point over here, this anchor point is over here, and then this shape moves like this. And if I move this position, as obviously it will change the position, then you will get this option for scale, rotation and opacity. And now I want the animation for the position. So for this to create initiate any keyframes over here, you will get this stopwatch. Then you can create one keyframe over here, and after doing that you will get this option known as add or remove keyframes. Okay, so to initiate we need to create keyframes on the stopwatch like this, and then I am go around 4 seconds. So I'll move this from here to here, and at this point I want this rectangle should go from here to here. So by holding shift, either I can move this from here to here, or I can move this position from here to here. Then as you guys can see, it will automatically create the keyframes. And suppose if you want to select this and if you want to create just a keyframe over here, then make sure that you should not touch this stopwatch, because this stopwatch is useful only when you want to initiate the entire keyframes. And if you want to create a keyframes in the middle, then you should click on this icon over here like this. With the help of this you can create keyframes or you can remove keyframes. And now as you guys know that how we created keyframes, if I hit play now, as you guys can see, we will get this animation from here to here. And this is not only for this one, you can create one keyframe at scale over here. You can go to around 2 seconds. You can make this scale 200 like this. It will automatically keyframe over here. Then you can go over here and you can make this 100. Okay, so now if I hit play, I'll get this kind of animation. Along with that, you can create keyframe at rotation also. Let's create one keyframe over here, and let's go somewhere around over here. You can select those keyframes and you can move forward, backward also like this. And let's make this rotation, let's say one complete rotation. So you will get this kind of animation like this. Okay, obviously you can create rotation animation also. So this is how this keyframe works. And now we are going to talk about how to jump on this keyframe. So let's move this over here. Now suppose this time indicator is in middle of something, and now I want this time indicator should be properly on this keyframe. So what I need to do, I need to select this key indicator and I need to move it over here. But sometimes there are so many keyframes that it's difficult to move this time indicator in forward direction on certain keyframes. For that, what we can do, suppose if your graph, I mean not graph but time indicator is over here, and you want to move this toward your forward keyframe, so you can press K on your keyboard like this. If you hit K on your keyboard, it will move on forward direction like this. Okay, suppose if you at the start, if you hit K, it will go forward, again it will K, it will go forward. And now suppose if you want to go to the backward keyframe, you can hit J. So for forward direction hit K, and for backward direction hit J. So this is how this keyframe thing works. Obviously we will go to the details whenever we are going to do proper animation, but this is just a basic knowledge. So for now you need to understand this much only.